Let's create a sample WPF application. We can add a new project. We have to select a WPF app.NET framework, and let's give the application or project name as language switch demo. Yes, language switch demo project is created. Now in main window, let's add few controls. Let's take stack panel. Inside this one, we'll go with the text block. Enter customer name. This is one text block, and then let's take a text box. And below this, let us take a button and keep the content as submit. And let's set this project as a startup project. Now let's add a menu item here. Menu item, header, language, and then inside this language, let's add two other menu items. Menu item, header, English, menu item, header, Spanish. So now let's execute the application and see how it is. Yes, we have application like this. We have a language menu. We click language menu. You have two submenus, two menu items, English and Spanish. Now our goal is, if I click on English, we have to show the label content and button content in English. If we click Spanish, we have to show this label content and button content in Spanish. Now let us see how to implement that. So in order to implement language switch, the first and foremost thing is that you have to create resource dictionary for each language. So here we want to show the menu name, menu item names, and the label name and submit. So all these things we want to show in different languages based on the selected language, right? So for that purpose, first let us create a resource dictionary for English. We have to say right click and then add new item, and we have to go with resource dictionary. Yeah, here we have resource dictionary, and we can give the name as string resources dot en.xaml. You can say add. Okay, we have string resources. Inside this string resources, we have to add resources related to menu items, label, and button. Right. We have created resource dictionary for English. Now let's add a resource dictionary for Spanish language. Again, you can say add with resource dictionary. You can keep the name as string resources.es.xaml. Now, what you can do is that you can simply copy the content from English, paste here in Spanish resource dictionary, and you have to use the namespace. Okay, now let's give the values as SP menu, SP English, to indicate that the text is from Spanish language. SP, right? So we have added resource dictionary for English, resource dictionary for Spanish as well. Now let's go to main menu, and in the menu item, click event handler. Click event handler. Let's set the English language. For example, whenever I click English menu item, I want to switch to English language. So let's go to that and implement. Let's go to handler and implement that switch language functionality. For that purpose, let's implement a private method switch language, which takes language code as parameter, and inside this we'll go with resource dictionary. Dictionary equals to new resource dictionary, and then switch off. Let's use this language code, and case en, if it is en. If it is English, we have to set dictionary dot source equals to new URI, and then here we have to give the resource file name string resources dot resources dot en dot xaml, and URI kind dot relative. Now if it is Spanish, copy and paste. If it is Spanish, then you have to change the file name to ES. And in case of default, let's go with English. That means we'll use data source which is related to English. Okay, so after this switch control, what you have to do is that you have to set this dot resources dot merge dictionaries dot add of the dictionary. That's it. We have implemented a method which is needed for language switch. So we have to call this method from this menu item click. So this menu item click is corresponding to English. So because of that reason, we can pass the code as en. Let us implement event handler for Spanish language menu item as well. So there, for this second item, you can go with click and then event handler, and we can go here, and now we can call switch language and then go with code as ES. Initially, by default, let's go with switch language of ES. That means we'll go with default language, which is English. You can paste it after initialize component. Now we have to make some changes in the main window wherever we are assigning values. So here we are assigning header English, right? So here we have to change this one to dynamic resource, and whatever name we have taken as part of this one. So here we have taken str main menu. Okay. Here you have to give dynamic resource main menu, and for English menu we have taken str menu English. Here dynamic resource str menu English, and for Spanish you have to give dynamic resource, and you can copy from here str main Spanish. Sorry, the name should have been menu, but it's okay, name can be anything. Whatever name we are maintaining here, the same name we have to maintain, we have to give here. Okay, and in case of text block text, so here also you have to give dynamic resource and name from this resource directory, resource dictionary, sorry, and give like this. And next, in case of submit also, you have to give dynamic resource, then name from the dictionary. Right. So we have made changes in the XAML so that the values we are assigning using dynamic resources. And in the menu item clicks, we are changing the dynamic resource. So in these clicks, we are calling switch language. That means we are changing the resources or dynamic resources based on the selected option. Now let's execute and see it. As we can see here, the content is by default in Spanish language. Why? Because we have called switch language during the main window load. And now if you go to this menu and select this English language, so we are calling this switch language method by passing en as the language code. Now if we say file, you can see that the content is in English. Let us remove this breakpoint and execute. So if we select Spanish, content is shown in Spanish language. If we select English, content is shown in English language. So that is how you can implement runtime language switch in WPF applications.